Hey guys, welcome to day one of the Creative Arts Collaboration hashtag event for December. This month's event is hashtag LoveWinterArt, and I'm going to show you, if you don't know what a hashtag looks like, this is what a hashtag looks like the pound sign right there. And it's just Love Winter Art after the hashtag. And when you want to view everyone else's videos, you go to your YouTube search feature and you type in the hashtag. Always put that first, Love Winter Art, and then all the videos from all the creators for this event that have participated will pop up on your screen and you'll be able to watch all the different videos. So today, I'm going to be working on a project, but first I also want to tell you, if you are interested in joining the Creative Arts Collaboration, there is a Facebook group, and you can search for them by using the words Creative Arts Collaboration, and ask to join and then follow whatever procedures they have for you for creating videos for each event. So, I don't normally give a list of what you use for each project that I do on my YouTube channel, but I'm going to try to give you a list today to make it easy for you. And what we're going to create are one of these angels. It's a pretty simple project. I wanted to keep it pretty simple so that I could go through the video rather quickly so that you could have time to watch all the other videos, because there's going to be a lot of them out there and I know it's overwhelming. I don't even get a chance to watch all of them. I try, boy, I do try, but boy, it takes a long time. Anyway, it's exciting and it's fun. There's a lot of content out there, so I hope you do the search for Love Winter Art. Put the hashtag in front, don't forget that. And they run from December 9th through the 12th. So 4 days. Okay, I'm going to show you what I've done first. I've created these from cardboard. You can tell it's cardboard. And I have two that I tore off the cardboard face, basically, and had the corrugated part show and left them raw. So here's what one looks like. And here's another one that's raw. Basically left natural, I'd say. And then these are using the technique of crackling with glue, regular glue. So we're going to do the one today. We're going to do two actually today. We're going to do one regular with the glue and one natural. So I made a mistake. We are going to do two. So this is the crackle effect that I get from the glue that I use, which is just regular Elmer's all-purpose school glue and paint. And then the first one I ever made actually was this one. So, I'm going to give you a little bit of a list of supplies that I used to kind of help you out. I don't normally do that, like I said, so it's a little odd for me. My channel is usually just kind of, let's just do whatever's on our mind, throw it out there. Well, this is what was on my mind, but I usually, I don't give a list, and so it's a little odd to do that for me. But we'll do it anyway. First thing you need, let me gather as we talk, is regular paper, just like printer paper or something like that, where you can draw your pattern. And this is what I used, just regular printer paper. Okay, and I decided how big I wanted my angel, and then I marked off the area that I wanted to draw in, like here, here, here. And this one was actually right here, so it got cut off. And then I just took a pencil. Let me find my pencil. Where is my pencil? There it is. And I started sketching my angel like this, all the way around. And I did go ahead and go all the way around my angel like this, but then I changed my mind later, and I chose the side I liked the best, which was this side. And I just folded my paper like this, which would have meant my angel was in here like this. And I just cut one side. That way when I opened it, it was fairly even on both sides. And then I have a template if I want to use it for something. So that's how you get your pattern. So for that, you're going to need paper and a pencil to draw, or a pen or whatever. And the other thing you'll need is some cardboard. And for the cardboard, I just put her down on cardboard. And this is not big enough. I'm using a scrap to show you. And you might be too close. Let me put you back out a little bit. I always go the wrong way. Always. Okay. Oh, my T. You can see my T. That's okay. I lay her on the cardboard, and then I just trace around my angel like this, okay? And after that's done, I cut her out with whatever scissors you want to cut out with. Okay, and you're going to need some glue, and you're going to need paint, one color for the aging or distressing if you want to. Like on this one, I used paint to distress the edges a little bit and add some distress into the angel wings. You can use a distress pad if you want, that's fine, or you don't have to distress them at all, then you won't need that. You'll need two colors, one for a base coat, one for a top coat. And the base coat is this green color you're seeing here, and the top coat is white. That's what I chose. You can do it any way you want to. It doesn't really matter which way you choose. You'll need fabric or wide lace, and the reason I said lace is because the ones that are left natural, I used a wide lace for her dress. So we're going to use that today on her, the one I'm creating that's left natural. And on this one, with the paint, I used a piece of fabric. And I just have some fabrics I got at either AC Moore or Hobby Lobby or someplace. Little fat quarters that are real inexpensive. These happen to be $1 a piece. So, I mean, it's really simple and easy. You need some trim or jute or twine or something. And that's either when you put something at the neck or if you put it at the waist. I've done both. So you need whatever matches what you're using or whatever you like, what you feel comfortable using. Embellishments or buttons or flowers or charms. And on this particular one, I used a paint gloppy. And when I say paint gloppy, if you follow me on my channel, you know exactly what a paint gloppy is. And everybody probably does, but I always keep my paint gloppies. And so I dug through here and I found one that actually was like this, solid, and I used that. On the other ones, I used an embellishment of some sort, like a charm, and you can use buttons, whatever you like, doesn't really matter. The other thing you'll need is some brown paper bag, and the brown paper bag or brown paper, whichever one it is what I used for the natural ones. I put a tag on it like this, and we're going to address that when we get to it, but that's optional. You'll need a brad for using the tag if you do choose to use a tag. You'll need thread to gather your fabric and a needle, or just glue and just punch it up and glue it down and hold it. You'll need wire for her halo and invisible thread or monofilament to hang her by. And you can't see this very well, so when you're hanging her, you know, it's not going to stand out, depending on where you hang her tree, wherever. And I used monofilament, and I used 8-pound monofilament. So that's what it's called. It's from the jewelry section. I don't know if you can see. There you go. And the other thing, scissors to cut your fabric, scissors to cut your wire, and scissors to cut your paper if you use separate scissors for that. I use my scissors that I use for when I'm sewing, I have set aside. Scissors I use for art and crafting, like something like this, I use the same ones for my glue and for my fabric, so just junky scissors. But for the wire, I needed a little bit of a heavier scissor to cut with, so I used my Tim Holtz scissors, or I have a pair of scissors that actually cut through wire and stuff like that, whatever you have. Or you can bend it back and forth and try to break it. Or you could not use wire at all. You don't have to. You can choose another way. Maybe a pipe cleaner or something like that. And Mod Podge or Collage Podge, something like that, is optional. I did not Collage Podge over these, so if you choose to do that, you'll need that. And then you'll need brushes to paint with, of course, and then a brush for your glue. If you don't want to use the same brush for glue and paint, because the glue tends to dry up brushes and get them all stiff. I try my best not to do that, but it happens. So I would protect the paint brushes and use a glue brush or something. And I think that's about it. If I missed anything, I'm sorry. We'll get to it. We'll address it in the video itself. Okay, let me hang this back up and we'll get started. And some of this is going to be fast forward to save some time for you. And try to make this as quick as possible without being too quick. Okay, first thing I've already done is I've cut out 2 of my angels. And I want to make one of them the natural way. And I did not mention this in the supply list, but you can do it either way. You can use your finger or a brush, or you can not do it at all. But I took a brush and I put water over it and just kind of dampened the top layer a little bit so that it would soften the paper and make it a little easier to tear, because it does take a little second to get off the paper. And then you'll need to go ahead and tear off the paper after you've wet it. You don't have to wet it, that's just what I chose to do. So you can see it's wet a little bit here. And then once it's finished being wet, it'll kind of soften, not too much because you don't want to get it too mushy. But sorry, don't want to mess this up here. Okay. I like to wet it just a little bit to get it a little bit soft, but not too much. And then I just find a spot that looks a little loose and I just start tearing the top paper off. And then I have a paintbrush that's kind of the size of the hole. That's not the right one, but I didn't have it ready. And it helps me tear. Okay. So I'm gonna get this torn off and then we'll come right back. Okay. I've got most of the cardboard torn off. That's the difference. And there are some pieces here that are like loose, but I don't worry about most of those. I leave them. I don't care, to me. But if you care, then just keep working at it a little at a time. Maybe some tweezers or something to help you get it off, but I don't care. I like it like this just fine. So that's the back of each one, front. Okay, the first one we're going to work on is the raw one. Well, no, we're going to work on this one first because the glue and stuff needs to dry, and I don't want to air dry. I don't want to blow dry it with a heat gun. I like to let it dry naturally because it seems to crackle better. It does speed it along a little bit with a heat gun, but I had better success with air dry. So let's come in a little closer for this. No, you're close enough. I always have trouble with how close you need to be. Okay, on this one, I chose to use the same fabric as the one I showed you earlier. And let me pull out that fabric. It's right over here. I'll show you. Oops, I dropped my brad. I set them on top and they're tiny. So. Okay, here's the fabric. These are the different fabrics that I told you I got for $1. They're fat quarters. And I chose to go ahead and use this one again. And I already have a piece that's cut out in a shape or width that works. This width works for me. And so all you need to do is decide how tall you want your dress. And like on this one here, it's about right here in this area. So I just measure from right there. I don't even measure with a measuring, with a ruler. I just lay it there and guess. And then I'm going to be gathering it, so it'll pull it up a little bit down here. But you need to decide how wide you want it. And normally for something like this, because it's flat and it's not a regular dimensional doll or anything, I kind of measure where I'm going to be placing it, like 1 time, and then I measure 2 times, and then kind of cut a little extra, not too much, for, oops, there we go, for the length. I'm going to lose these brads because they're loose on the table, right there. So now if you fold this in half, you kind of have the width that you want. But we're going to be gathering the top with the needle and thread, like that, and then putting it on there. Okay? But first, let's paint. On this one, I used Sea Breeze, I believe, by, who was it by? Americana. I think that's the color I used. But I'm going to go a little darker on the one we're working on. I'm going to use Bluegrass Green by Americana. I think I just want a little darker look against this fabric So first thing you want to do is, this is clogged because I have this lid doesn't close, so it always clogs up. But I'm going to shake it real well because it's a little older and it's kind of thick. And I'll just use the, I'll just kind of tap it out like this. Get what we need. If we need more, we'll get it. And then I just spread the paint. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward that part and we'll be back when the paint's done. The paint's on the front. I'm going to let that dry. It's a little thicker because it's an older paint, and so I kind of want it a little more liquidy. I might add a tad of water to it, I'm not sure, but I'm going to let that dry. And then I also paint the back, just so that if it's hanging on a tree and it happens to twirl or something, the back is not cardboard. But on the natural ones, of course, the back is cardboard. I don't paint that. So as soon as that dries, I'm going to flip it over and paint the back, and then we will do the crackle technique as the next step. So while we're waiting on this one to dry, let's bring in this one here. And what I did for this one was I wanted a little bit of something in the background here instead of just plain cardboard. So I took some white paint and I just rubbed it on the raised part of the corrugate, you know, a little bit, not inside deep. I think I took my brush and kind of spread it around a little bit too. I don't remember, so I didn't do step-by-step, you know, instructions in my head and on paper, and I just did it as I went, and I didn't film it. So this is the first. So let me get the paint ready. I'm just going to put a little bit on my mat here so I can dip my finger into it. And I just dab it and I just sort of go across it like that. You always need more than you think you're going to need, and if I put what I think I'm going to need, if I put more than I think I'm going to need, I always put too much, so I can't win, huh? I usually like to chat through my videos, my regular videos, but I feel like with this I need to be more focused so that it's not a long video, because my videos do tend to go a little longer in parts. I put them in parts though, because I chat with you guys. It's like a visit. So when I'm doing these, I feel almost weird. I feel like I should be more, I don't know, quiet and stick to the point. And I don't know why there's a little bit of that feeling for me there, but there is. It's kind of funny, actually. Okay, and I think what I'll do also is I told you that I used a paint or distress ink for aging the paint a little bit, or the surface. And for mine, I have a real liquidy brown oxide. It doesn't normally come this liquidy, but for some reason this was that way. So I just basically use it for aging and something like a wash. So for this one, I'm just going to dab a little bit on my finger and kind of touch up a couple places. And I didn't do that on my other ones, I don't think, but I kind of wanted to on this one. Kind of touch the edges a little bit. Okay, I think that's good enough. Okay, now let's set this one aside for a second. Let's see how dry this one is. It's not real dry, but I can use the heat gun on this one, so I'll do that and I'll be right back. I've gone ahead and I painted the back because it's a repetitive thing. You guys know how to paint now because I've showed you the front and fast forward, and you knew how to paint before I showed you, so I didn't really need to show you the back. And it's not perfect. I may put another coat. I don't know. I've got a few clumps in there that I really didn't plan on, but that's the nature of that paint. So, but like I said, these are mixed media pieces. I'm not really worried about them being perfect. I like the little imperfections. That's why some of this part where the cardboard looks a little rough, where I couldn't get my scissors, I thought, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to leave it. It's fine with me. So you need to relax and just enjoy and let it be what it is. Okay, this is the crackle part, and there will be a little bit of time in between where it dries, but while that's drying, we'll work on our other piece. So here's what I used for my glue. I just use, and actually I use a small one because it's almost empty. Let me find it. Here it is. I used Elmer's glue. It says glue all, but it's just a school glue, household glue, multi-purpose glue. Just regular old glue, okay? And you're gonna take your glue and you're gonna squeeze it out on your project and you're gonna brush it on all over. And I'm using a brush that I use to collage with or Mod Podge with. And you want to be generous with your glue. You don't want to be skimpy, because actually the more glue, the more crackle effect you're gonna get. And the less glue, the smaller the cracks and less crackle effect. So whatever you're going for, modify how much glue you use based on that. For mine, I'm going to use a lot of glue. So this is the messy part. I get it all over my fingers and I can't get it off while I'm working. It sticks to everything. I'm just going to start putting my glue on. And it's clogged up because it's been sitting there and it's almost empty. So we got to unclog that. And of course, you know, if anything's going to take some time away from videoing, it's gonna be something. Oh, well, we'll just deal with it, right? I wanted more glue on me anyway. I didn't want to go without getting glue on me. See, it's almost empty, so I just need to open a new one. Well, maybe there's enough. I don't know. Let's keep going. You can see I'm putting quite a bit of glue. Actually, I'm glad I did use this. Now I can just say I've used it all up. My friend used this glue, actually. It was brand new. It was full. She came to visit and we did some projects and she used glue and she used practically the whole bottle. I've never seen anybody do that before. All right, let's just call this a done deal here. Throw that away. Now, start spreading your glue around, and I don't I don't spread it really thin. Like I said, I've got a lot on there, and hopefully, yeah, you're close enough, I believe you can see. But I be careful when I go to the edge. I don't want to lose a bunch over the edge of it. So I go to the edge gently, but I still put a lot. And I don't think you need to work very quickly, but you don't want to be real slow about it because you're supposed to put your paint on as about the time your glue is kind of dry, getting dry, not fully dry, but drying, not real wet. So I'll gauge it and I'll let you know. And I would fast forward this, except that this is important for you to know to get the crackle effect that we're looking for. And I may have put more glue on than I need, but I don't think so. And see, it's already drying underneath. So I want to work a little quicker and get this on there. Okay. It's pulling away from the edges as it dries a little bit, because see, it's shrinking. Okay. There's a lot of glue on here. I'm going to try to get it up to the camera to show you. Get this on water. Alright, see how thick that is? It's really thick. But it's drying. You can see some of the green starting to show through. It's still not dry enough, so we're going to let it sit for a second. And I'll let you know when it's time to put your white paint on, your base coat. This was your top coat. Your base coat was the green, then your glue, and then your top coat is whatever color you want to show. And mine was white, you can see in this one. So your base coat's going to show through the crackles that it's creating. And I'm going to use my glue brush again to put on the white because it's going to mix with the glue a little bit, and I don't want to mess up my other brush with glue. So we'll give that a minute, and while that's doing its thing, I want to add a little more white to the corrugate board, the corrugated part, because I don't like the brown. There's too much of it on there. So just a little bit I wanted, and I went a little overboard, so I need to fix that. I would have done these separate for you guys, but really I have to wait for this to dry anyway, so it made more sense to do it this way. Okay, that's better. Put that there. All right, let's see what this is doing. Still really wet in that area in the center because I left more glue there. But the wings are ready. So let's just go for it. Okay, then you take your white or whatever color you're going to put on, and I just wiped a bunch off, so we'll fix that. I put a piece of thread on the glue by accident, so we need to get that off. There. All right, put your paint on. And gently coat it on over the glue. Don't try to mix it in with the glue a lot. Don't try to press hard. Just gently put your paint on. You can already see some of the crackling happening on this wing here. I don't know if you can see it the way I have to. Can you see that? Not that you can answer me. Okay, I'm going to leave that sitting here. I want to stay on camera while this dries a little bit to show you as it happens what's happening. It's really cool. I love to watch it. And then we'll move on to the corrugated angel. While I get the glue off my hands, let me get you a little closer to this and see if you can watch it do a little bit of its crackle thing. Get closer. Can you see the crackling happening in here? Still a little soon, but I'm trying to get a good angle for you. I'm looking up at the lens, but I'm having a hard time telling if you're able to see it. I think it gets blurry the closer you get. Well, it's a happening. Let's zoom you out some and see if that helps. Oop, too far, too far. Come back. There. See it? That's cool, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to set that off to the side for a minute while it continues to dry. We'll come back to this one. And this is going to be the same thing as what we cut, how we cut the fabric for the angel that's drying. We're just going to take the lace or ribbon, well, it could be ribbon, fabric, whatever you want to use, and we're going to kind of measure 1, 2 lengths. And then, like this falls on a hole, I'll just go a little further. Maybe too much. Let's see. We'll start that hole right there. Okay, then I'm just going to cut what I need. Okay, done with the glue, so put that out of the way. And then we're going to take a needle and thread. Any kind of thread's fine, doesn't really matter. And I'm going to gather. Okay, I need to show you this. See where we're going with this? See how it's crackling? Got a ways to go. There's a lot of glue on there. Okay, we're just going to gather the top of this lace. This is actually ribbon, Clooney lace, I think is what it is. And I'm going to go under the holes here. I don't use anything in the holes, any ribbon or anything, and that's fine. And I tie a little bit of a knot. I try to grab a spot that's going to hold because this is rather open. Oopsie. Let's see. It's rather open, so it's not going to hold very easily the first shot. Okay. Then I just gather across doing a running stitch like this. Back and forth. Down and up. Okay. So all the way across. I'm sorry if I'm out of camera. I'm leaning back a little bit. So I need to move forward. I wasn't going to do this part on camera because, you know, it takes a little time, but I think that it's okay. been about a month since I filmed. I feel out of practice. I've been creating, and I'll do a video showing you everything I've been creating, but I haven't done any filming. All right, then we're going to pull it as small as you want it. Which side is the right side? Let's see. I don't think it matters on this one. I think it's easier for me to hold it this way though to get started. Okay. It's still wet. I think that's good. Then you want to tie it off at the end so that it stays in place. I'll just take a few stitches and then a couple knots. It's hard to do this way. I'm used to holding things closer to me to sew or anything, so I'm not used to doing this stuff on camera. My background is in fabric and sewing, and background, by that I mean that's what I started off with mostly, is sewing and sewing my clothes, sewing patterns and dolls and things like that. And then I went on to designing my own dolls. I don't do that as much anymore. I do mostly mixed media stuff. Okay, so now we can see that fits on there like that. And I was going to go a little higher with this one. So let's get glue on the back. I hope you guys make some of these. They're really easy. They're really cute. And I think they're going to look really cute on a tree. And you don't need a lot of supplies that you don't probably already have. Okay, that's on there. And then I'm going to take I didn't have an embellishment for her neck that I liked. No, this is the one I did. The other one I didn't. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. So this is for this one. Okay, this one I'm going to use this embellishment. This is a button actually. And it has a shank on the back, which means it has that little plastic thing on the back. Usually I cut those off. If your button comes apart, just glue it back together. But in this case, I may leave it on because this groove here is kind of centered up with her. So if I put the shank down on something that's sticking up, it won't glue down, it wobbles. But if I stick the shank in the groove and glue the button down, it stays. So I think because there is a groove and it lines up enough, it's not perfect, but enough, I'm going to leave the shank on so there's no risk that the button will come apart. And there'll also be a little more glue on this to stabilize it. So we'll do that. And I got the cap in my mouth. I do that all the time, so bear with me while I do this. This is me. That's how I do things. Okay, I'll put that there. That's her little neck embellishment. And it's got to dry. And while we're waiting on that to dry, we will create her bow. And for the bow, I'm just going to use some ribbon that I found in my drawer that I kind of liked with the button. Matched up. And the crackling is still happening, but it's taken a long time because I did use a lot of glue. I think I used more glue on this one than in the other ones that I've done. So it's going to be a while before it dries and pulls apart and shows the color. So we'll work on this one a little bit, and if we have to go off camera, we will, till the other one dries. And after you cut your, let me go out a little bit. I feel like I'm too close and you don't see sun because I back up too much. Take the ribbon, and this one happens to be one-sided. I really prefer both sides to look the same because it keeps you from having to tie a bow that matches, you know, that one side doesn't look funny. But there is a way to tie it. It's just, I can't really explain it. Just work with it until you get it. I'll try to explain it after I get this on there. All right, then we're gonna glue that on. Now this didn't work. This is still showing the wrong side, and this is the right side. I'll twist it a little bit and see if I can get it glued that way to where it'll stay. If not, oh well. Glue bow here. I use a lot of glue. It's oozing out, so I wanted it to stay. So we're going to take a minute. I'm going to shut off the camera for a minute while this dries and let the other one dry a little bit more too. And then we'll come back and we'll look at them. Okay, while these are drying some more, this is still drying on there a little bit. And I'm going to show you how far we've come with the crackle. It's not done. It's still crackling and still drying. And the next step I'm going to take you into is the halo. And it's sort of, it's up to you how you do it, but the way I do it is I try to decide, I pick like a bottle cap or something to make a halo size, like around the cap like this. Decide how much wire you're going to need. That's probably good enough. And I cut my wire. And then I put the wire together. I fold it together like this, ends meeting approximately. Hold on to the wire around your cap like this, or whatever you're choosing. It doesn't even have to be a cap. It just could be loose wire. And then twist the tails together. Okay. And then I bend, this is how it looks. Then I bend it down like this. So it's shaped like this now. Because I'm going to stick the end down into the corrugated board like that. But I'm going to glue it actually. The next little thing I do is something that I find difficult to do, and you may find it easy. I find it difficult, but the visible thread, I used it because a friend suggested it for hanging it, because I didn't know how to hang it with the wire and make it look good. But take as much as you want, and I know you can't see this, that you're going to use to hang, let's say, let's say that much to start. I'm not measuring, I'm just guessing. Hang on, let me take this back or it'll be everywhere. Everywhere. All right. And I couldn't find an easy way to attach it without it looking weird. So I just decided to attach it to the wire before I even put it in her head. And the way I did that was I tied a knot at the end. I brought both ends together, and I know you can't see this. I'm very sorry about that. Come closer. I just took it and put the two ends together. And then I tied a knot down close to the bottom. Not too close, but kind of close. May take a time or two to get them both in there. And this will come apart, so then I kind of tie another knot. And I can barely, I gotta do this way. I gotta be down closer. Okay. Another knot at the same location. Okay, 2 knots usually works pretty good. Then I put a little dab of glue on it once it's in the wire, just as an extra precaution. And then I find a place on the wire that I actually kind of like, the center, and I stick the invisible monofilament up through the hole, or however you can do it. If there's a hole here, use that. And then I put my fingers through the opening here and grab the tail and bring it through and tighten it like that. Okay, so that's where she's going to hang from. But this will come apart easily, so I put a little dab of glue to help hold it. Right here at where they meet, the wire and the thread. Okay, and then I let that dry for a minute before I insert this into her head with some glue. So let's do that. Let me let it dry and then I'll come back. Okay, it's still drying, but it's a little dry, so we're gonna go ahead and proceed. I'm gonna cut that tail off. All right, the next thing I wanna do is find the hole that I'm gonna put this in the top of her head. They're not gonna be dead center, it's okay. Just go with it. Loosen up a little and let it go. So I mainly want to get glue on the top of the hole so it can be starting to seep in, and glue on the wire so that when I stick it in, there's glue down inside and on top. Okay, so we'll put a little glue right here. Then I'm going to put glue along the wire. Actually, the wire can go inside this hole usually, but yeah. But it's hard to do with the way I'm having to do it to film, so we'll just do it this way. Okay. Then I take it and I put it down the hole right there and slide it down. Okay, hers is a little crooked, but that's okay. It's really okay. All right, and then you want to hold your wire up so it doesn't glue down, the monofilament actually. And I hope I was on camera. I'm sorry if I wasn't, but I think you get the idea. Put glue in the hole you want it in, put glue on the wire, and then just stick it down in. And where you glued the monofilament to the wire is still drying. Kind of hold this up, the monofilament, so that it won't dry over, you know, like laying flat. And you can still have it up like this when you need to hang. And once it's dry enough, you can let it go and then lay it down and let it dry the rest of the way. Don't pull on this because it'll come right out right now. Okay, so here's the progression. Oops, I just stuck my finger in it. That's really good. Oh well, we're just going to go with it. The progression of our crackling. And my smudge where I put my finger in it is right there. And that's okay, we're gonna just go with it because her dress is gonna cover that anyway. So I'm gonna go off camera a minute, let this dry some more, and then as it's drying, as it's dry enough, I'll come back and we'll work on this one, get her finished, and then hopefully get to work on that one really soon. Okay, this one is dried enough that I can lay her down, and this is fine. It'll be dry later as soon as I let her sit for a while. She'll be dry enough. The next thing I want to do to her is add her tag. Now what I did was I have a stamp that I found, I don't know where I found it. It doesn't say on here, but it is a shape of a tag that has December 25th special delivery. And I got this really inexpensively somewhere. It was on a clearance rack, which I thought was unusual. So I grabbed it, and it's by Inka Dinka Doo. I don't know what it's called. I'm looking. I don't have a name. Sorry. But anyway, you can recognize it if you see it. It's just got the number 25 and it's a tag shape. So what I did was I stamped a bunch of these onto what I was telling you needed was brown paper or paper bag. I used paper bag. So I just stamped a bunch of these in black and brown. These four are black and these four are brown. So you really can't tell a big difference. And I'm kind of liking the brown for her, so we're going to use a brown one. And what I did was I just stamped it, and I'm going to cut one out. And if you don't have this stamp, don't worry. If you have something shaped like a tag, use that, and then put your own stamping or handwriting or whatever in here. Or use another type of tag like the manila tags and distress it and make it your own. Or don't use a tag, use something else that just hangs a charm or something like that. Whatever you want to do, make it your own, do whatever you want with it, but this is how I chose to do it. And this is a real easy one to cut out, so that made it extra special to me because anything that's easier is great by me. So I'll just cut that out. And I don't think I even distressed this, or did I? Maybe I did a little bit, I don't know. Don't know, don't remember. You'd think I'd remember, I only did this about a week ago. I'm off camera, I know, I'll be right back. Hold this to the side so I don't get it in the glue. Okay, and then it has a hole here, and I don't worry about the hole. I don't use a hole punch or anything because it's a tiny hole. I just put a little hole there with my scissors because the brad's going to go through it. And let's take this paint and go ahead and distress it just a little bit. Just go around the edge just a little bit. Didn't really need it. But you know we can't leave well enough alone. Okay. And then I'm going to find my brad. Here's the one that brads over here. And you need to get the brad apart. Be able to put it through, to be able to undo it in the back. There we go. I just want it apart a little bit so I don't have to fight with it once I get it back there. Stick it through the hole. And you could stick it on the fabric or whatever through a hole or through the fabric and attach it that way, but I just went ahead and I'm going to pull you out a little bit. I just went ahead and closed it on the back here. I don't want to mess up my it's not that I don't want to mess up my nails. They're not done. It's just, I don't want to scratch my nail underneath and have it go up into my skin. That would hurt. Okay. All right, that's open now and attached to the back. Okay, then I just took some glue. Put it back here. And I found the spot that I want to put it. Usually it's right around on top of the bow. I'll stick it right there. And it has to sit for a minute and dry. Okay, that's what she looks like. I'm going to hold her for a minute. I'll show you the progression of the crackling, and then I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to take care of my dog. I'm surprised you haven't heard her. She usually either snores in my videos or digs in the carpet in here to, I don't know, make her a little bed or whatever she's doing. I don't know. She's a little beagle. If you follow me, if you watch my videos, you know all about that. If you're new, then that's what it is if you hear that noise. And it's just a daily ritual. And anytime I film, she usually does it. She's in every video I've ever made since I've been doing videos pretty much in some way or other. Okay, anyway, this is how it's coming along. Looks really pretty, doesn't it? And this is taking a little longer than my other one did because if you can see the difference, I didn't use as much glue or, what is it called? Paint. It's not as thick, but this one, I really laid it on. And there's the difference in those. So, let's take a break. You won't notice a break. You'll notice me in 2 seconds right back here. And when I come back, hopefully that'll be dry enough and we'll proceed. Be back in a minute. Okay, Bailey's all taken care of. So where we left off is this one is pretty much done. I just need to sign her. I'm not going to do anything else to her, I don't think. And I'm still letting the top dry just to make sure it's dry. The crackly one is still drying. There's still some thick spots down here that need to dry. But it's crackling really well. That's where my finger smudged, so, you know, the glue was gone and everything, so, but that's okay. So while we're waiting on this a little bit more, we will, let me move her so she doesn't get paint on anything. We'll finish up the different accessories we need for the one that's drying, and I'll stick her kind of, well, I better not. I'll put this one here and look at. Okay. So now I'm going to cut, well, it's already cut. Her dress needs to be gathered at the top, so we'll do that. And I'll probably fast forward this part since you don't really need to see that again, and then I'll come back. Okay, her little dress is ready. And one thing I was going to tell you about on this one, I couldn't find anything that I wanted at her neck that went well with this. This one worked out really well, I think, but I didn't want to use the same thing again, so I was looking around trying to find something and I couldn't find anything I liked. So I found in my drawer some ribbon and some little flowers that are fabric or crochet or whatever they are. And I thought that might be cute, but I'm going to color them. Maybe 2 of them, I don't know. We'll see. I'm just going to put a little bit of paint on them to kind of match her. And this one too. So let me find what I want to use because I didn't do that in advance. And I didn't give that into your supply list because I hadn't really thought that you would probably do that. But if you do have to do that, all you need is something white or tan if you don't have something that matches what you're doing or you like with what you're doing, and just color it. Maybe spray it or put a little dab of paint with your finger on it, something like that. So let me go find what I need. I'll be right back. I don't know if this is going to work, but my 2 favorite colors that I use, they're not my favorite colors like overall, just over every color, but the 2 favorite I use all the time, I just seem to go to all the time, is Spa Blue and the Sea Breeze that I told you about in the beginning of the video. And so I am going to put the Sea Breeze with this, and I don't know if it'll look right or not, but we're going to try it. The worst thing that could happen is we don't like it. We just do something else. So I'm going to put a little bit out on my mat because I'm going to use a little brush, I think, for this. And I'm almost out of this one. I have a backup, believe me. I have a backup or 2. Can't remember, but I know I have a backup. Okay, let me find my little brush. We'll just use this one here. No, we won't use that one. We'll use this one. I use this for all kinds of scruffy things because it's scruffy. It's not in shape anymore. It's got like bushy ends. That's the only way I know how to say it. I am going to spray a little water out with this too and water it down so it's not just thick paint on what I'm doing. And we'll see what happens. Let's try a flower first. Get a little water in my brush, a little paint, mix it in, and let's dab it on there. Are you close enough? I think you're too far now. Let's come closer. Can you see that? The comparison, let's see. White is usually hard to focus. There. I think that focused. Better bring this in the camera so that it focuses on something other than the white. White tends to get a little crazy. This has a little bead in the middle, a little bead in the middle that I didn't want to disturb, so that's why I'm using my brush for the most part. And it's so tiny, I thought it would work best. And it's working great. And I'm leaving the white back, so that's fine. And there's some white on the edge, and that's fine too. Okay, let those dry. Then I'm going to take the ribbon and I could run it through. Maybe I'll do that. You have to back out a little bit so you can see that though. Try to keep it focused. I'm mixing all the water and the paint together now. And I'm just going to lay this in here. And rub it through. Probably have to get more paint. The way I'm doing it, it's soaking in. And it's faster though than doing it the way I was going to do it. I may not add more paint. I may just let it be what it is. It may be a little bit, what do you call it? Variegated. But I'm okay with that too. Okay, I'm gonna go off camera a minute to dry this and we'll see how it looks when I get done. Okay. I like it so far. I just don't know how I'm going to like it once I attach it to everything. But the next thing I'm going to do is just tie a bow. And it's still a little damp. But I might go with it anyway. And it did distort the lace a little bit, the trim. When I first tied a bow, it was very, I don't know, kind of still kept its shape. But this is going to be fine. Gives it a more primitive kind of look, which is good. I like it. Okay, let's go ahead and put it on here since we're having to wait on her so long. See how we like it. I do like it. It's very subtle. We're just going to go with that. So let's see. Do I need to help it along with the heat gun now? Has it been long enough? Let's just go ahead and let her dry a little bit more. She's one of these girls that takes a while to get ready. And we'll create her halo while we wait. So let's get our cap and create our circle. And cut our wire. Oops, still need that. Okay, if you remember, we just tied our tails together, or twisted our tails together. I don't think we tied these, we twisted. Okay, and then we bent. And that's good enough. Then we made our annoying to work with monofilament hanger. I don't know how you people who do jewelry, who use this stuff, stand it, because it drives me crazy. I love what to make, but I don't think I want to work with this stuff very often, if I can help it. Need to work under a magnifying glass to do this. And I'm just tying a knot at the end where the tails are, like I did before. And cut the tips off a little bit. And then I'm going to run it through here. There's no opening that I really want to use, so I'm just going to do it like I did last time. Run it through, stick my fingers through the center, grab the tails, and pull it up in the center of the wire at the circle. And put a dab of glue to kind of hold it there. And really, I'm not trying to hold it to the wire. It'll stay pretty well. I'm trying to not glue the knot a little bit so that, not the knot, but where it slips through so that it doesn't unwind itself, because this will unwind itself. It'll just open. I don't know how to describe it. And I usually put a little dab of glue on the knot up here too, because it could unknot itself, but this one seems pretty tight. Maybe at the very end when everything's ready and I'm drying, I'll do that. But I've got to go off camera for a second and hold this while it dries, and then we'll come back and we're going to just go ahead and dress her whether she's ready or not. I'll be right back. Okay, I have a little something to tell you, but first we're going to put her halo in. And she's almost dry enough up top there, but let's just hope I don't mess her up too much. Let's do that circle there. And it's hard to hold that and do the glue. Okay, now, oops. Now it needs to sit there for a little bit while it dries. What I was going to tell you was I kind of did what I said I didn't think we should do, is I used my heat gun a little bit to speed it up on the bottom, not the top. Well, the top a little bit, but not as much. On the bottom, because I did a lot thicker on the bottom. That needs to sit still because it's wobbly. And what happened, I'm telling you this so that you know if you do this. What happened, okay, you need to sit still, is the part that wasn't dried yet, it got crispy, like too dry, and now it's like wanting to peel up. So on this particular one, and it's the only one I've done it, I am going to put a coat of Collage Podge just to protect it a little bit, and if this peels up, it'll just peel up. I'm not really going to worry about it too much. I am going to try to help it secure itself a little bit though, because of what I did. It's my fault. Because I was being impatient. I wanted to go ahead and work on her, but that's what you get. So we're just going to put a little bit down here to help hold this on and seal her in. And I should have probably distressed her before I did the Collage Podge, but we're just gonna go with it. I can still distress her after. It just probably would have been easier before. I could have sealed it too. But since I'm using paint to do it, it probably doesn't matter. Okay, the main thing I'm worried about, not really worried, but wanting to do is down here. Okay, this will dry fairly quick. So I'll be back in a second. I'm getting a little impatient with her, I guess, so we're just gonna go ahead. She's still drying a little bit, but we're gonna go ahead and do a little bit of the distressing on the edges in the areas that I think are fairly ready. I'm using my finger to kind of rub it up into the paint a little bit and putting a little bit inside her wing. And like I said, this particular paint that I'm using is very, very liquidy. So if you're going to use paint, I would suggest watering yours down just a little bit to help you smooth it and spread it where you want it. I don't want too much on here. You can always go over it later and put more white or whatever color you want to cover up some spots, but I think we're good. Okay, she's still drying a little bit, but she's gonna have to dry with her clothes on because we're going on. Okay, so this one is ready. I just put a little glue on the back of her apron dress type thing. And put it on her. And we're going to take our apron, our ribbon, and put it on our apron. And our little flower. And our other little flower. Okay, I like that. Let me zoom out. Oops, wrong way. Okay. I like how she turned out. I think it's really cute. Subtle colors. I like that. And this one here. So these are really cute. I like them. I hope that you guys will try this. I'm going to show you all of them again. And this is the one that I was sort of patterning her after, except I did it a little different with color and stuff. And I think that between the two, I still like the first one. I thought I would prefer the darker one, but I do still like the first one, although I still think they're both cute. And then this one, which I really like, and this one I used, it's called Black Cherry. It's not a black paint, it's called Black Cherry, which you can't really tell on camera. And then this one, and this one, and this one, the one we did today. So that's it for the angels. Sign the back. Always sign your art. You don't have to, but I think it's a good idea for you to look back later in life or whenever and say, I did this in 2015 in December. You don't have to put the exact date if you don't want to. And for those who give them to, if you give them away, they can look back and see when you made them, or family members that come along later in life and run across them, they'll know when you created them. I think it's a good idea. I enjoy putting my name and art date on the back of things, or on the front, depending on what I'm doing. But I'm going to wait until these are a little more dry to do that. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you will look for the hashtag LoveWinterArt in your search bar for other artists doing what they do and showing you what they love. A lot of them are techniques, some of them are tutorials, some are just showing you, sharing with you how they create something. I don't teach, I just share how I created something, and then you do it however you want to do. I don't call myself a teacher. So, you know, everybody's different. But have a great day. I hope that I'll see you tomorrow in day 2. I don't know how many of the days I'll get done, but I'm going to try to do all 4. But if not, I'll get as many done as I can. And if you are new, thank you for being here. And if you're one of the old subscribers, and I don't mean old in an old way, I just mean that you've been around a while, hi to you, and thank you again for all your support and for being here. And also, don't forget to go to Facebook and see about the group collaborative creative arts collaboration. There we go. I always get it backwards. If you are interested in participating in the hashtag events. Okay, so I'll see you again later. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.